I'm damning it to, yeah. So when I don't say the GD word very, we're learning. And I know you guys know this because I know you pay attention. We are finally realizing to the gravity of how Christopher Proudfoot treated media the day Sebastian went missing. We're hearing he threatened them. He threatened to shoot them. Does that sound like a normal human being in that situation? Or sometimes I truly want to say it just because damn it, that much. And I G'd damn it intentionally. Sometimes I do that. Did I tell you guys Christian people aren't perfect? It's so funny because people are always coming, not always coming to me, but from the hate channels, that's their thing. And I laugh because they clearly don't know religion. Do I try to be as close to God as possible? I do. Some do it better than others. Sonia does it better than I do it. I know it's something I'll never obtain. Okay. I'm a realist. Okay. I go for better than I was yesterday. And as long as I'm better than I was yesterday, baby, we got it. We got it. But these people here, they were awful. They were awful to Sebastian, and they tried to come along. You try, you wake up every day and try your best. You go to school, you put your happy face on, you do your homework, you're doing the schoolwork, you come home, you go to your room, you try to stay out of everybody's way. You don't try to ruffle anybody's feathers, but everybody's just so mean to you. And so finally things kind of escalate, and now it's coming from being mean to now hurting you. And so you go and tell the teacher thinking, hey, if I tell the teacher, maybe this pain will stop. But because you're not normal, when they finally come out there to see what's going on, you're blamed for everything. So now you feel hopeless and helpless. Because every time you try to help yourself, you get in more trouble and have to go through more pain. That's what people need to understand. That was the reality of Sebastian Rogers. He was just not appreciated. He was not treated like he should have been treated by the people that had the most contact with him and should have loved him the most. And now he's gone. If my dog was missing, my dog, not my child, not did something with Sebastian, right? That's kind of how it went. I mean, I'm embellishing a little bit, but it kind of went like that. No, dog was missing, and I you. And so you go and tell the teacher, thinking, hey, if I tell the teacher, you know, my dog was missing, and I saw flashlights around my house, I would be GD in something. Who embellishing a little bit. Tough as Chris is. He's calling BJ to run backwards and some D's and telling me I'm a whatever, what. You know, and he's wondering why we think he's this dirtbag, but he's a military a-hole, right? So wouldn't he be macho about it? Like, who? I can't believe somebody would dare come to my house in the middle of the night. Let me be crystal clear. Let me be crystal clear. Let me be crystal clear for transparency purposes. Swearing count. She does kind of do partial swearing. She'll secretly share some things. Swearing count. She does. Was outside. It's like this is pretty obvious that that's a trash truck. What we saw, it wasn't that obvious, and I could tell you it did not have that much light out. You know why? Because it was 2 hours before the trash truck came through. Two hours. An hour and 45 minutes to give my. Okay? So, no, it's not a trash truck. Those were absolutely flashlights. And they walked to a car that turned their lights on and backed out. Now, I'm not sure, but why would a trash truck go and park on the side of the road and then back up and leave the community at 3 o'clock in the morning? I don't even think that the people driving those trash trucks are in those trash trucks at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't think they get in until like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to be there by 5. Chris, it's not your house. It's a crime scene where a child, Sebastian, got missing from while sleeping. Amen. Can't even speak. Amen, Faye. Amen. Let's get back to this. I told you. Just saying. I don't know either. I don't know either. But let's get back to that. Let's get back to this. Okay. So if he were to run away, let's look at this. Why? Chris and Katie have been adamant, and Seth has too. So we know that it's true, at least for everything on paper. We don't know truly what happened. I did learn that the child under the car that everybody thought was Sebastian, I heard was not Sebastian. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but I've heard that that was not Sebastian. It was another kid. So if that's out of there and that was truly another kid, then we've got no possibility of Sebastian ever running away ever before February 26th. So now, if that's the case and he's never run away, why would he decide to run away after his mother went to sleep? What reason? Can we think? I mean, I'm sure there are some reasons. Let's throw some reasons out. What would make an autistic child wake up in the middle of the night and do something he's never done before? The CPS report, oh, the Sebastian didn't have his belt on. I figured that out. He made Sebastian go get a belt so he could whip him. Oh, wow. That makes sense. That makes sense. My dad did that to me, you know. But I wasn't 15. I was a little girl, you know? So I got whipped with a belt. I also got whipped with a switch, depending on where I was and what I did. If I'm out in Mayaca City and my daddy wasn't wearing a belt, I had to go pick the switch. Just how things go. We're country, okay? We believe in corporal punishment. I've received corporal punishment. I turned out fine. Is that horrible of me to say that with a laughy face instead of a straight face? They both got caught. First CP at the geofence we got. I was thinking geofence too. I brought that segment up too. We've got that. We've got that. So that's interesting. The geofence, the K9 Officer Max, and KP with a flashlight in hands. The evidence are there. What is police waiting? Faye, I don't know. You know, I personally thought it was lack of funding. But here they're getting funding stripped of him, and you know what Sheriff Struggles thought of himself. Himself. Not the people he's required to take care of. Not the missing child in his community. Himself. Like, I'm all about public servants, and I'm all about them getting their fair share. You know, they put their lives on the line, but I am not paying a pretty boy to screw up a freaking case. And then giving the man a raise when he has produced shit. Look, I do have a good example of my personal sheriff handling a very high profile case like the Black Swan killer here in Manatee County. A lady that killed her husband. She was convicted. I'm pretty sure she's spending the rest of her life in jail. I'm sure she's spending the rest of her life in jail. But those are the things I like. Those are the things that I like to see from a law enforcement. My sheriff didn't have anything to. Why? Because he didn't screw up the case. Did he make mistakes in the case? Did did some of his officers make? I'm absolutely. I didn't watch the trial. We didn't cover the trial. I had a big breaking case right in my own backyard. I didn't cover it because I don't worry in my county. When I need to worry, I worry. When somebody was unalive down the road, we smacked our politicians around this county, and trust me, we embarrassed my state attorney. My what does that one have? And this is just on one. This is just on one. Oh, I took it down. But on my ex, I can't even remember how many that got, but it reached tens of thousands of people. Tens of thousands of people. My Ed Brodsky. Never mind how many, hundreds of thousands of people that have seen it. Because I ran that clip every single show. I think for an entire month, condemning Ed Brodsky, putting his office number on it. Call him. The hell with him. My police did their job in that case. Rick Wells, he built the case because well, you know what it ended up happened. This is what happened. Okay, blamed it on the state attorney and gave me all of the case numbers to verify the information before like I said, again, that's the situation that had happened. So I went and looked at it, and I had changed it to Ed Brodsky and basically stated my sheriff did what his job, because he did. And it was our state attorney, our district attorney, Ed Brodsky, that did a plea deal with the guy, that put, after he threatened to unalive his mother, puts him in a halfway house, acting like he wouldn't do it. Within 24 hours of being in the halfway house, he's over at his mother's trailer, unaliving her. Exactly what he said he was going to do. Anyways, Mama, remember, for 9 months, Sebastian's army will never stop until he's home. Amen to that. Amen to that. I think I got you, Sonia. Who else? Oh, BJ Boop. It's nice to see you. 12 months. We got a birthday. I don't know if we got, I still have my birthday hat out. I still have my birthday. That's for that real birth. That's for the birthday, that birthday. But so let's see BJ Boop a little. Happy birthday, boop 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 boop. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy Bullhorn Betty birthday, BJ Boop. Happy Bullhorn Betty birthday to you. Became a new member. Patty's been a member. She's been part of the family for a while. We thank you for the love and the support. And Lisa B. always, Brandon Carter asks CTB for her cleaned up audio. Crime Time Buzz for her cleaned up audio. When was this? Recently? Cleaned up audio for what? Was it the recording of whatever that had been passed around? Because I'm curious about that. Which audio? Because I'm hoping they're doing their job. But you know what? I haven't heard of any searches, and I haven't heard them getting out of the sheriff's office. And I'm tired of seeing them sitting in the sheriff's office. Sebastian, I can guarantee, is not in the sheriff's office, like I said yesterday. I can guarantee no matter where you go in that sheriff's office, go ahead and look under everything, get your canines in there, whatever you need to do, the boy's not there. So if you're sitting behind that desk and not out in the field, you're not searching for him. You're not looking for him. You're not getting any closer to finding him. And in the state of California, in the state of Tennessee, it is one of the states. Do they have the laws to bring circumstantial cases? They do, and they can. My problem is that I feel like they don't trust their jury enough with common sense. I don't know why it is instilled in Tennessee district attorneys and otherwise to act like they can't present circumstantial cases. Do they? They have. But if you look at the history of Tennessee, it's not enough. It's not enough. They need to be looking at Florida laws because we bring a lot of circumstantial cases. We win a lot of circumstantial cases because we know how to build circumstantial cases. And I'd like to see them start, and I'd like to see them start with Sebastian's case and tell his story. Because he is either put somewhere by his mother or he is deceased. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, in my opinion. It's one or the other. And it's a coin toss to figure out. But because we haven't been able to find him, the fact that they've been so they've never ever really campaigned or tried to search for Sebastian. It just and how defensive they are. Even if this was a custody dispute, I don't think they would be that defensive. I just don't. I just don't. I'm looking at their behavior, and their behavior, if we were to look at their behavior, does their behavior mimic that of somebody that's involved in a child custody abduction? You know? It just doesn't like that. Does their body language says foul play on it, but there's two options here. Which is their option? You know, is it unaliving or is it disappearing? I mean, there's differences in both, and I feel like that their behavior is not mimic or indicative of them being involved in a disappearance. I just am looking at their behaviors and still, even to this day, so let's go ahead and let's clear this poll. This poll is, hold on, I'll give you guys the breakdown of it. Do you think Sheriff Snuggles Struggles deserves a raise? 84% of our audience said absolutely not. I couldn't agree more. We'll see how stupid their board of county commissioners is, because we'll see. That's all I gotta say. We'll see. I have to think that everybody is displeased with the sheriff, but you I don't know. Is the whole county corrupt, or is it just the this man wasn't in the house. This is their very first interview that they provided the world about this case. And I can tell you, if I recall, when I first saw this before people started realizing, I think it has, let's see how many views it's got now. She's got about 37,000 views on this now. But when it actually debuted, even when I went back and saw it, because I didn't know about this at first. I didn't learn about this one until I can tell you exactly the time that we reviewed this. I can tell you. It was when Chris McDonough brought Steve Johnson up, and Steve Johnson was doing his I guess the thing, deception detective, where they listen to speech, um like linguistics, kind of like Mike Damon and the deception detective. Well, Steve Johnson, he worked for law enforcement and now owns his own, business that kind of was a spinoff from when he retired from law enforcement. And he uses his experience and expertise in statement analysis. That's what I was trying to say, statement analysis. That he said, you really want to go back to the first interview. And by this time, I had heard that there were rumors that Katie had done an interview with Duchess before she ever did the WSMV video or interview. And so it was the day after that, on the interview room. It was the day after that, whenever that was. It was the day after that we went and watched Duchess for the first time. And I remember Duchess, came into the chat snootily and came in. And I didn't know that it was the same Duchess that is seen on Facebook flipping me off when I've never even spoken to the crackpot. Like, people that have never met somebody and would literally diss somebody, that they have no integrity, because adult people, professional people, do not act like that. They just don't. So that tells you where she's at in life. Okay. Then I find out she ran off with Chris and Katie to a motorcycle rally. To me, she's a piece of shit. You ran off with people that could have hurt a boy and didn't even bat an eye and enjoyed yourself with them. That to me, is just sick. That's just sick. I don't know why anybody would respect Duchess after that poor display of, I don't even know what you call it. She's acting like a freaking child, like a teenager. It's just ridiculous. Grow up, lady. Grow up.
Take phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Now, you told me that night that now, Chris, you were at work, you were out of of town at work,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you were not even home.
Correct.
Do you notice how that is one of the more important things? This is what I find odd with these interviews, is that they were so adamant trying to tell everybody Chris wasn't there. So upfront. So upfront. We're looking at all these, we're having things go on with women in our age, or our day and age, that we've never had before. We've got a lot of female teachers sleeping with boys. We've got women unaliving their offspring. Women. I don't know if it's so widespread at this point. It's making me wonder what is making these people do this. Like, I'm really starting to believe that somebody got a shot of something and it affected a certain population a certain way. Because this is insane. We know Katie was the only one with Sebastian that night. At least that's what the evidence is showing. What the actual evidence that we have, that we've seen, factual. Or something to that effect. I guess we could look it up. I mean, I just saw it. I may have downloaded it, as a matter of fact. Let me see if I just got that. Okay. All right, let me look at I'm pretty sure I would have downloaded that. Did I not? Let's see. Okay, here it is.
Someone said, stepdad. Yep. He threatened to shoot our news crew Tuesday. Then went and made threats towards Channel 4 crew. Dang, why is the news not mentioning any of these people? That's what I couldn't understand. That's why I started digging. He came out to the roadway and said, my house better not be on the news tonight. And this person said, that's crazy.
So now we have that. So why would a man act that way, pulling up to?
He has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked and gone.
So I don't know if, after knowing about flashlights in the side yard, if I would think that my son just willingly walked out of the house. I'd be very, very concerned about an abduction, about somebody taking my son, about somebody from the school, doing pranking him. But not that he ran away. If he's never ran away ever once before. I don't know. She's saying that they had no fight. That it was a normal be that her son ran away and locked the door behind him. Why wouldn't she be just like us and say, what would ever make my son want to run away? Obviously, he was in fear for his life, is the only reason why he would go out that door. What would ever make my son fear for his life to go out that door? They've never asked themselves that question. Why? Why have they never advocated for Sebastian? Why have they only come out here to talk about themselves? And what they're going through and all this other bullshit. You know? Why? Doesn't make sense, does it? Well, if it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't go with what we're looking at here. And what we're looking at here is they're trying to tell us this child walked out the door and locked the door behind him. How do you know that? What makes you believe that? What? Give me one example of what would make you believe that he would walk out the door. Oh, well, that's the only reason nobody would break in my house. But you had two flashlights on it. Where did those two flashlights come from, do you suppose? If nobody broke in your house and you got a child missing, what would ever inspire these two people to truly believe that this child walked out the door? And if he did, they have to be asking themselves what would make him walk out the door when they had such a normal night and a normal weekend. And the only thing that they would come up with in their brains is that he was in fear for his life. So what in the world was he in fear for his life between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m.? And that's if we believe that's that version of the story. The version, their narrative. Their narrative that their body language statements and behavior don't match. They're acting way too casual, way too cavalier, way too cold. Almost like relieved. Seems weird. Does anybody get that vibe? Just seems weird to me. I mean, I've seen a lot of moms. I've held a lot of moms. I've held a lot of dads. You know, I was just with Daniel. Daniela Mendiola's dad. That man is a broken man. He keeps reliving her being in that ditch enough to just where you have to just leave your car, turn around, and walk out. People, you guys have never seen that type of grief from Chris and Katie. It's been over a year. Okay, so maybe the first 3
Sleep on the couch.
months, and he got himself into a pickle with the CPS stuff. So he's going to make things crystal clear. He's about to tell us about the 3-hour phone call. Why would somebody be having a 3-hour phone call on a Sunday at 9 p.m. that lasts until almost midnight on a work day? This would have been a conversation they would have had on a Saturday night, not on a Sunday night. I'm just saying. So, Women's Warrior says, Betty, there is a document for Tennessee SCO with lengthy direction on community involvement and how to maintain good relationship within the community. Well, they can first open their freaking mouth and act like they still are working the case of Sebastian. And give some meaningful dialogue to the effing public. That would be a great way to have community involvement and have a good community relationship, a relationship within that community. I'm just saying. Don't worry, Women's Warrior. I'm not killing them. Have is she just doesn't shut up. It's like she's so she would never be a good interrogator because she doesn't like dead air. Sometimes you need to let people, like, she might have already got a better read on these people if she had shut her blessed mouth. I'm going to tell you, when children are harmed, the majority of the child's death are by somebody they knew, including parents, guardians, and custodial people. Most common in child death. So trust me, when I'm taking these cases and I'm talking to parents, it is in the back of my mind. I could be talking to their child's killer right here. I do not get buddy with people until I know. Until I know. I never got buddy. When did you see Seth come up on my show? I never got buddy with that man. I never got buddy with that man until I cleared him in my own head. And I was love to review it. Because I'd like to have a better working relationship with the Sumner County Sheriff. I sure would. Maybe, just maybe, we can be diplomatic and solve problems without the need of forcing the solving of problems. She'd shut her blessed mouth. Taking these cases and I'm talking to parents, it is in the back of my mind. I could be talking to their child's killer right here. I do not get buddy with people until I know. Until I know. It's the gift God gave me. And that's what causes the passion to enter into a plea deal without the blessing of a family. And that would be detrimental to your job. Daniela's dad? Not one conversation with him about a plea deal. If you really, and this is what's going to happen, and I'm going to warn, because you know what? I know prosecutors hate more laws that they have to follow. But you keep doing this to the family, the rest of us people that care about those families, we will rise up in a big way. It may take a really long time, but we will rise up in a big way, and we will make sure that you can never enter into a plea deal without the blessing of a family, and that would be detrimental to your job. Money. Go fuck yourself. All right. The prosecutors get paid a lot of money. Being voted in gets you a pretty price tag. So we expect them to earn their keep. And that means when you put together a shitty plea deal, by God, you better sit in front of that family. I have been ripped from that, and that's in part by Sumner County. I will never be that vulnerable again. I have now made extra concessions, and I'm no longer scared of going to. I don't break the law. I don't break the law. They can arrest me. They can persecute me. They can prosecute me. Doesn't matter. At some point, I will have my vindication, and I have to have trust and belief in that. So I don't care. care anymore, and that makes me very, very unstoppable. And it gives me an opportunity to go tell a sheriff to go fuck himself. And that's exactly what I want to tell Sheriff Snuggle Struggles to do. Go fuck himself. Maybe I should just tell him. I find people just don't come and speak what's on their mind. So let me just tell him. Let me quit saying what I would say. And let me just say, Mr. Snuggle Struggles, go fuck yourself. All right. Hopefully somebody clips that. Maybe it can be on somebody else's intro. We have chickens in the chat or something? Justin's not around, so we can't have a chicken party. Ooh! But we can have a mullet party. We can have a mullet party. If you guys want a mullet party, okay, let me. Oh! I know. Did I already do that? Hold on, I gotta see something. I don't know what the hell I did. Did I put one in here? I did not. Good. Okay. So my mom. Did I tell you? Maybe I didn't. Let me set the stage here. Let me set the stage. Is it? Hold on, I gotta see something. I don't know what the hell I did. Did I? Going through here. She was just talking about it last night, and because of the video set up back behind the scenes, it put it right there. And I'm like, I can't move it, but I can put it to the top. It was all the way down at the bottom. We haven't watched it in a while. I didn't even know if I still had it, but I did. And since you guys have been so generous this evening, now it's evening. Good. Yay, it's evening. I was saying evening a couple hours ago before it was evening. Since you guys have been so stinking generous, if you guys haven't seen this, you're going to get a little chuckle. This is back in my funnier days. I know, I'm a little dry now.
Andrea, aka Bullhorn Betty here. Look what I found. It looks like a lot of people on YouTube. Right here. Right here. This is a real ass right here. Like many people on YouTube. All you need to do is show an asshole a little love. Right? Right? Tell him. What you need to do? What you need to do? Huh? What you need to do? Oh, too many assholes on YouTube. Say it. Say it with me, baby. Say there's just too many people. Too many people on YouTube that look like you, huh? So the next time you want to be an ass, maybe you should come out here and hang out with the ass. Just saying. You want to be a jackass? There's your brother. Peace out. Bullhorn Betty style.
That was actually filmed in 2022. It was Summerwell's 1-year milestone. We had an event that the Bullhorn Betty channel put together. It was a lantern release in her honor, but it was at the sheriff's office because we wanted the demonstration to be in front of them. We ended up letting off their neck quite a bit after that event, and they, of course, if we just back off, they would get it. They would be able to do what they do. Well, as you see, we backed off a little bit. They took an inch, it took a mile. We gave them an inch, they took a mile, and now we're here 5 years later, and the case still isn't solved. So, or 4 years later, however long it's been. And justice needs to be had for Summer Wells. And I truly believe Dawn Wells and Candace Bly absolutely know what they're, again, another story. Same story, different face, different name, different location. Same story. Same story. All we do is repeat. Don't you guys know that? Haven't you guys figured it out here on True Crime? All we do is repeat the same stories over and over again. Just different faces, different names, some details different from case to case, but pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. I think he killed the mullet because we started fucking with I really do. He was sporting that mullet and until the Bullhorn Betty, he doesn't like people teasing him. He got an ish thing. He doesn't like people teasing him, y'all. He don't. He got an ish thing. He got an ish thing. So when people tease him, he's got to fix it. He got to fix it. He can't be teased now. That tells me he's got some childhood trauma. Like I say, I look at every single blessed behavior a person has, and I have to try to figure it out. Why do they act that way? It comes back to what Jason Jensen always told me. Always ask the why. Always, always. Always ask the why.
If you shave your cooch, but not your booty hole, is that the same as a mullet?
My tongue out her ass and left. I'm on TV. Oh, shit. First cops, now this? Oh.
I don't know much. All I know is the mullet was no more. I don't know. All I know is the next time we saw him, mullet was bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, mullet. He's not a cooch anymore. He's just a douchebag. Just a douchebag.
We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy.
One story. And that's how we've got, she was studying for school, falling asleep on the couch, blowing bubbles out of her butt and trying to talk to Christopher Proudfoot in the middle of the snores. None of it makes sense. And when you listen to it and listen to how ridiculous, just put it on paper. Just put it on paper and process and just envision. Just take time. And close your eyes and listen to what they're describing. How is it possible? Because what I think we're going to find out is one of two things were happening. They were running all over the place. They were able to have the steps. You know how in the Alec Murdaugh case, maybe you don't, some people may not have been with me during Alec Murdaugh, but if you were with me during Alec Murdaugh, what you will know is that after his wife and his son were shot, what they determined the time of death, they see him, his devices walking from the dog kennels to the house. So they have all of his steps and how many steps he's taking during different intervals. But somehow, after the time when law enforcement determined that both Paul and Maggie were deceased, they see him it looks like he's in his home just pacing back and forth, making all these calls. So they're showing this on here that this call's being made. This many steps is between this call while he's on the phone. They know he's on the phone. Phone with his brother for this long, and he did this many steps during the conversation with his brother. So they had it down to the steps, and it makes me wonder, could we keep hearing that Katie's smartwatch or her Apple Watch is missing or got lost somewhere or something like that? That's what I heard. It's a rumor, so I can't tell you whether it's true or not. I don't know if she gave it over to law enforcement. They actually have it, or she truly in fact lost it, and we saw it on her earlier that day. It just seems awfully suspect to me. Sorry, it does, that she would have something that could track her ever movements and steps that would have disappeared the same night her son disappeared. That's pretty suspicious if you ask me. Along with lights on the side of the house going to an unknown car that appear to attempt to try to shield itself from cameras intentionally, but ended up getting picked up on the camera anyways, because of the range of view was much larger than they had anticipated. So because of that, now we have flashlights going to a vehicle. You can see the headlights turn on that vehicle. You can see the light because of Justin for All, the work him and his team did. You can see a motion sensor light come on the house directly across the street from where the movement was going on at the car. That's not something that would be indicative of a trash truck moving through. Otherwise, you would see the trash truck moving through and blocking the lights that are peeking through all those bushes, including the garage lights. Because the truck is big, it would have obstructed the camera, just like the leaves, made that appearance of the ruckus video. And it's just the trees. It's the lights. It's the camera pointing through the trees to the lights on the other side of the trees inside of the garage that are on. And the trees in front of that light are just moving ever so slightly, but it's giving this appearance of people struggling with something. But if you watch it long enough, you'll see it's the same struggle over and over again, and the people never move out of the light. And it literally goes on for like a half an hour to 45 minutes. And I'm like, nobody's standing in front of a light with struggling for 45 minutes. It just doesn't make sense. And that's when I realized it must have been trees, and there was a light source. So when I was out there, I had a theory that it was most likely coming from inside the garage, the trees, and then the camera. And I was able to correct. Corroborate that when I went out. Miss Robin coming in with a bang at sheriff's office, but not for the people that are out there risking their lives. like Sheriff Snuggles struggles like, just when we can't think you could be a douchebag enough. What a douchebag! What a douchebag! Can you imagine the morale of a police department or a sheriff's department where the sheriff actually stood up and said, look, why don't you I'm making enough money. Why don't you not worry about me or our top staff? We make hundreds of thousands of dollars, but we need the guys that go out and risk their life. This is not good for morale, Board of County Commissioners. We really should be giving our guys a raise. They bust their ass around here. Man, that would, even if they didn't get the raise, can you imagine what that would have done for the morale of that sheriff's department? It would have boosted it to an all-time high. Those sheriffs would believe that their boss has their back. But you know what? He didn't do that. You know what he did? He thought of himself. He didn't think of the people under him, and he didn't think of the victims of his community that still need resources and help, just like Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. But Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is the priority. He is the underage child missing from that community. And Sheriff Snuggles struggles? missing child. He just wants the raise. And I keep looking to see what he's actually done to justify the raise, and I can't find one positive thing to say about him. I don't like Sheriff Snuggle Struggles. I've never talked to the man. I don't like him because his own community went to approach him, and his first words out of his mouth are, "Do you reside in this county?" Well, I can tell you, if I was before that, he would have wanted to arrest me. I would have told him about himself so quickly, it would have made his head spin. I would have been up his ass with the Constitution, federal funding. I would have just told him everything and seen if he would like to change his attitude. But clearly he doesn't care. He doesn't even care for his own community members. Hell, he doesn't even care for a medically needy 15-year-old boy that was most likely injured and hurt by his mommy and stepdaddy. His buddies, his Navy buddies. His Navy buddies. We want we want this case out of Sumner County. Every time I go there, I have to take the case up over them because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know how to read the law. Hell, even the judges don't even know what the fuck they're doing. They don't even know what the fuck. Missing child, he just wants the raise. And I keep looking to say about him. But clearly he doesn't care. He doesn't even care. Most likely injured and hurt by his mommy and stepdaddy, his buddies, his Navy buddies. His Navy buddies. We want this case out of Sumner County. Every time I go there, I have to take the case up over them because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know how to read the law. Hell, even the judges don't even know what the fuck they're doing. The judges can't even read the blessed law, and they've got Westlaw that makes it for dummies. I know. I used to use Westlaw. Now I've upgraded to Google Scholars. You know why I've upgraded to Google Scholars? Because you have to actually know what the heck you're reading to understand it. And the judge, John Blanton, he has something that gives him a little green button, a little red button to tell him whether it's good law or bad law. Like, it's dummified. And Judge Ron Blanton doesn't even know how to look at the law. They're idiots there. Either are just incompetent. But that's still a horrible reputation to have, no? The whole damn system? I'm sorry, Seth. Like, it's dummy. I'm sorry, Seth. I'm sorry, brother. My friend, you're getting a raw deal. You're getting a raw deal. I have never had this kind of relationship with any sheriff's department, I can tell you that. Even the contentious relationship in Chatham County was not this bad. Even their chief they released him without bail. I saw a few pictures. I'm so happy to see you. The last pictures, well, it's been a few days, but you were smiling. I love seeing you smile.
You coping? um,
Oh! So just 24 hours, not even 24 hours before this, we get this. Got it right. Oh, you didn't even hear that. I wasn't even on that tab. Let me go back. Let's listen. So that was her first question. This was her first question on Duchess.
And you did tell me that Sebastian is not a runner.
Listen.
he's not.
Oh, he's not. Okay. All right. Well, let's what's this about? I mean, you seem pretty choked up. Not even 24 hours before this. What did the situation become funny all this?
The situation right now. How are you coping? um,
Well, I'd say she's coping by laughing. Because she just asked her how she coping. She like, what do you mean coping? We ain't coping over here. We're partying. Babe? Oh, sorry. That I didn't mean for that laugh to come out. Sorry. Let me look over to my husband. Let him clean this up. Let's see how cleaned up Chris gets. Let's just check it out. Oh, let's see.
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of
Remember, when things get tight, start rocking back and forth. Start looking like a crazy lady. Start, get yourself in that straight jacket position. Just start rocking. Doesn't really matter where you're rocking to. Just start. Coach them on maybe how they might want to present themselves because they're doing such a crappy job at it. Let's see if she can give them a nudge, the nudge they need. Okay, maybe we don't know yet. Let's see if they get the nudge they need.
Not anymore. I know we're about keeping hope alive.
She almost seemed like we got to analyze this. I'm seeing stuff I wasn't seeing before. Like I feel like she's got this this smirk on her face. I don't know if I saw. I mean, she didn't have any expression on her face, but I don't know if I've noticed the smirk. Did you guys notice the smirk? Let's see. Watch her face.
I wouldn't
Look at that. I mean, watch her lips. Watch her eyes.
wish this on anyone.
Let's go back. I might be overthinking this. Look at her eyes.
Your
It's her
mom's probably
eyes.
talking
Her
about
eyes
you,
look
Lord.
happy. That's the problem. Look at her eyes.
I wouldn't wish this
Right.
on anyone.
Right there. They didn't look sad. They didn't look sad to me. Now, I know we're splitting hairs. Right? Like, really? Does that look happy eyes? Does that look like sad eyes? I'm sorry, but we have happy eyes and we have sad eyes. Right? When you're talking to a child, even if they're not really having expression, you can kind of look at their eyes and tell if they're a happy kid or there's something, a little going on there. He's actually said that he there's something in one of the reports. Again, heard through the grapevine. It's rumored at this point, but I can't remember if I heard. I mean, it does. I can't remember where that came from, though. For whatever reason, I think it was on an interview that Seth did, and I think Tony. He didn't want Seth, or he kind of spoke up for Seth because Seth was being too nice or something about a certain topic, and I think he was the one that said it. If I'm trying to go back into where whose voice I heard it come from. Or if I saw it in text or print, usually, but if it's usually somebody that told me somebody vocally said it to me, if I can, imagine who told me or the sound of the voice, I can usually determine. But I think I heard it on, maybe it was The Lab. I know it wasn't an interview on my show, but I remember seeing them, and it wasn't some mainstream media. It was definitely online somewhere, but I don't remember. Either way, it doesn't matter. I do believe that it most likely was in there. But actually, you know what? If you guys do find that clip, send it to me, because I don't. think I have that clip. But it came from somewhere, and I like to source things. I don't know. I've got like literally 2,500 items in Sebastian's folder, and I was actually going to think that's another thing we need to do. We need to do a timeline and put everything in there. Even the movements, the what was being stated by his sister as well as Dara about what happened that morning. We need to be plugging that crap on a timeline and seeing where everything is, because theoretically our window still, no matter what we're looking at, it theoretically is midnight to 6 a.m. So we need to find out what happened in there. And I believe he actually was removed from the house between 3 and 4 a.m. So we're kind of, whittling that timeline down to get us a very specific spot. I think that was the side effect, him being removed 3 to 4 from something that happened earlier. So I think there are two windows of time that we need to focus on, but we need to figure out what those are, and we need to start focusing. But it could cause complications because it's critical timeline issues. So according to the timeline, at around 6:40, Vinny was seen in his Silverado with the box, passing the VFW. And he was going from the VFW and going over to the Sunoco. And they list him arriving at the Sunoco at 5:41, 1 minute later. For that to be a possibility, the Sunoco would have to be literally like right next door, or, within like 1,000 feet. So I had, when I went and plugged in the address on 100 Montour Street, or whatever it is, Montour Road, I think it's Montour Street, it showed that drive was 15 minutes away. So they're either he didn't pass the VFW at 5:40, or he wasn't at the Sunoco at 5:41 asking the clerk for gloves. It was one or the other. I think that it must have been, made in that said that they saw Chris at this place at this time. Those things can be plugged into the when I went and plugged in the address on 100 Montour Street, or whatever it is, Montour